I consider myself a hardcore stealth enthusiast. Someone who likes to perfect every stealth run regardless of how many hours it can take. I'll do Ripper runs where I take out all enemies without being seen, and I'll also complete ghost runs where I don't use any tools, kill any enemies, or be detected. However, currently, I have decided to start a journey wherein I will approach stealth games like how I approach RPG games, like Kingdom Come Deliverance, Elder Scrolls, and Outer Worlds. By this, I mean going through the games with the intention of accepting the consequences of my choices,
whether glorious or tragic,
and avoiding saves coming. This is a complete opposite of how I previously played stealth games, wherein I tend to reload my saves every time I get detected multiple times or when I feel like the map is too messy from dead bodies and guards stuck in their investigative states. Though I do want to note that I don't reload every time I am seen. But there is a threshold when I feel like the levels have become too overcrowded with guards looking for me and dead bodies that I fail to hide. And so whenever I feel this, I get that urge to reload to the last checkpoint where the level was cleaner. This is one of the reasons why I tend to take 2 hours or something to get past a level in heavy-duty stealth games like Gloomwood and Mark of the Ninja. And in the OG Thief games, it's much worse. I remember when I realized that I spent almost 4 hours on a single mission, due to constant reloading every time I'm seen. But yeah, anyway, I decided to ditch this playstyle, at least for my first playthroughs of new stealth games, to get more accurate insights of their level design. You see, stealth level designs are actually pretty complex, or at least they should be. Stealth levels aren't just hallways or environments where enemies and platforms are randomly placed. A proper stealth level, at least for me, is one that takes into consideration different playstyles and approaches. For example, enemy placements will need to be intently placed. There should be windows of opportunities for players to get past them. And not just by using tools like smoke bombs, but by just simply bypassing them, either while crouch walking or a well-timed sprint. And I don't mean an obvious window like guards totally walking away from their position, but a very brief window, maybe a 3 to 4 second window where all guards are not looking at a specific spot, allowing the players to push through without interacting with anything. In some cases, it can even be something like the thing in Hitman Absolution, where hiding directly behind the guard is a useful stealth tactic. And fun fact, I started delving into ghosting in stealth games when I watched one of these 100% stealth videos of Hitman Absolution. Anyway, I do believe that the best stealth games are the ones that you can completely ghost through, meaning you can finish the game without killing anyone, not using any tools, and not getting detected. And while the ghosting playstyle does require the constant need for reloads, which contradicts the things I said earlier, a level design attempting to cater to it would allow players more freedom of expression. Mainly because they won't be compelled to just assassinate every guard standing in their way. And even if they are not trying to ghost a level, this type of design adds a certain depth to the game that creative players will surely have fun with. Then there's the other elements of level design like interactable objects and environments that are not exactly tools but can influence enemy behavior and the overall stealth experience. Some examples are collapsible platforms, exploding barrels, and light sources that can be extinguished. In an initial playthrough, using these things is very experimental. You won't know if an exploding barrel would alert faraway enemies, or how a guard would behave when investigating a broken light source. So if I am playing the game with the added rule of no reloading, using these things become risky. However, instead of preventing me from using them, each use will instead be a learning opportunity. If I get spotted by a whole camp after shooting a flammable barrel, then I'll know how enemies will behave and how to handle them. Sure, reloading after the fight and trying again would net the same lesson. But as someone who also likes to do a bit of internal roleplay when playing any game, the approach of going with whatever happens can also feel rewarding. It adds to the personal narrative that I am experiencing in the playthrough. And so with this said, I want to share a couple of stealth games coming in 2026 that I am excited to play this way. The first one is Styx Blades of Greed, which is coming on February 20, 2026. This game is the third installment in the Styx franchise, which is very stealth focused. Master of Shadows and Shards of Darkness were great stealth games that feel similar to Dishonored, though straight-on combat is pretty basic. Which is by design since Styx prefers to use stealth and doesn't really have the physical strength to fight humans one-on-one. In Blades of Greed, Styx seems to have new traversal tools like a grappling hook and a glider to make movement feel smoother. There's probably upgrades or improvements to his stealth and other abilities, but we'll probably get more details before the game releases. But I'm very excited about this game since it's one of those stealth games that stood beside Dishonored during the golden age of stealth. "007 First Light is a new action-adventure IP from IO Interactive, the creators of Hitman. From the name itself, it's basically a James Bond game that will focus on action, adventure, and stealth. After all, espionage is James Bond's field. From the trailers, it does seem that the game has good stealth elements which include a bluff mechanic, which is a form of social stealth. It allows 007 to persuade guards with a bluff that he's supposed to be in the area. I find it pretty interesting since it's a unique thing that we haven't seen in stealth games, I think. The rumors of the Black Flag remake coming to 2026 are pretty solid, that is why I'm adding the game to the list despite the lack of official announcement as of making this video. It was said that Black Flag Resync, which is the rumored name of the remake, will come out sometime around March of 2026. As mentioned, the game is a remake of the original game, so I don't really expect much in terms of innovative stealth gameplay or mechanics. However, since it is still an Assassin's Creed entry, stealth should be an element of the game, and I expect the upgrades to make that feel at least 2 times better than the original. I'm expecting Edward to finally be able to crouch without needing to dive into grass. Maybe we'll also see additional stealth tools or be able to acquire the rope dart earlier in the game. I also wanted to add AC Hexe here, but I now think that it will likely release in 2027 since Ubisoft might want to steer clear of releasing close to GTA 6. Last but definitely not the least is Shadow Syndicate, a noir stealth action game where you play as Sam Marlowe, a retired soldier turned private detective. This game looks good from the videos I've seen. You will be gathering information through dialogue and then solve puzzles to make sense of clues. Then, I'm not sure if the missions are black box mission, though I've read that you return to Brooklyn after every mission, which I'm guessing is your base of operation. Since it's a stealth action, I don't expect Thief or Dishonored level designs, especially since it looks like it will be also heavily narrative driven. But I'm hoping that I'm wrong and the game has excellent level design for a stealth action game. And so yeah, those are some of the new stealth games that I'm hoping to play this year and exercise the new approach that I talked about.